Shalom, Stockholm. How are you?
Shalom from Stockholm, Sweden. How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you tired yet?
No, I'm full with energy.
Very good. So we'll get right into it. So 1 year since the Abraham Accords. Congratulations on that. I wanted to ask you, which were the specific keys to these successful agreements? I mean, which efforts were made? The U.S. administration obviously were a part of it. What else or who else?
First of all, I want to mention for the last 2 decades, we had relations, under the radar relations with the UAE and Bahrain and with other Arab countries as well. Without a doubt, the fact that the U.S. administration and helped and supported the peace agreement helped the brave decision by the leaders of the UAE and the Bahrain and Morocco to take the step towards peace. I think that there are other issues that are very important. One of them is the change in the public opinion in the Arab world. We understand and we see with surveys that a lot of people in the Arab world don't see Israel as an enemy. They see Israel as a potential partner, and they want to benefit from relations with Israel. A few years ago, the Digital Diplomacy Department in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs created accounts in Arabic, and we started a dialogue with our neighbors, a direct dialogue. And we talked about political issues, but we talked about cultural issues as well, and we talked about other issues that were relevant to Israelis and to the citizens of the Middle East. And we created those bridges. And from my point of view, this change in the political or the public opinion created also a political change that allowed us to work, to advance in the peace process.
And Israel has said that this is only the beginning, and we are all hoping for the same. Which, potential other partners and countries come to your mind when it comes to the peace agreements? I mean, you have your neighbors, the Palestinians. Saudi Arabia is an important actor in the region as well. What do you think about the future for peace agreements there?
First of all, it's not the beginning. The beginning started in the 1970s when we signed a peace agreement with Egypt and later on with Jordan. And without a doubt, without those agreements, we wouldn't have reached the agreement that we reached in the last year. There are other countries that are looking to establish relations and peaceful relations with Israel. Hopefully, we'll see those countries, some of them, soon joining the circle of peace. I don't think that by mentioning them it will be beneficial for the process, but I do want to talk about the Palestinians, our neighbors. I think that, first of all, the Abraham Accords, or the peace agreements, the normalization agreements that we've signed, would definitely create a new reality in the Middle East that will benefit, that the Palestinians will benefit from, and if they'll join the circle of peace. There is no one in the world that wants the end for the conflict with the Palestinians more than Israelis. We've done a lot in order to achieve that. We're waiting for the Palestinian leadership to take this necessary step, and one of the necessary steps is to come back to the negotiation, direct negotiation with Israel. This is the only way to achieve peace.
You say they will benefit from this. In which ways would you say?
Because it creates a positive reality for advance towards peace. They'll have the support of other countries in the region towards peace. There are other countries that are looking for a change in the historical change in the conflict between Palestinians and Israelis, and those countries will support a change in the Palestinian policy of not negotiating with Israel. This is definitely will be a tipping point in also the peace process with a few other countries in the region.
right? And since I am, joining from Sweden, what would you say are the relations between Israel and Sweden at the moment? There has been a few small bumps in the road as well.
I think there has been, but there is also will on both sides to change the rhythm. I think that we leave aside politics. There is an old and very important friendship between the people of Israel and the people of Sweden. Historically, looking at the history and the ties between the two countries, we live with politics for a different opportunity since we were out of time. And it's not, we don't have enough time to go into more details in that.
Did you ever have a chance to visit Sweden?
Yes, I have. As a child, I visited Sweden. I love the place. I'm looking forward to going back and visiting.
Well, we'll be sure to be welcoming you back. Thank you so much for letting us join, and hopefully in a year we'll celebrate a few more peace agreements.
Hopefully, we hope for that too. Maybe we can repeat this project next year and break the record that we're establishing today.